And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night. And you know what that means? It's party time with us, the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting to the left of my screen, it's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Ooh, I'm doing great, Munson. It's Thursday again, and I'm pleased to be here on Ring Respect Radio on OLE Podcast. And oh my, we've got a special guest with us tonight.
In fact, we do. Our special guest sitting beside us, he also likes to talk about indie wrestling just like we do, and he's enjoying a wonderful Thanksgiving there. Our friend from down south, it is Ed. How are you doing it tonight, Ed?
Doing well. It's been a fun day. It's been, family and food, so obviously it's been a good one. But, I'm here to talk about some chaotic wrestling. Let's get chaotic a bit.
Oh, we're going to get chaotic for sure. And yes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody who is enjoying Thanksgiving, all of our American friends. Thank you for joining us on this special day of yours. And hopefully you're enjoying some football too. There's a lot of great football out there. Look at who's joined us. Look who's joining us. It's Mel Ball. He's here already up the hop, joining us in the chat. Thank you for stopping by, Mel Ball. We appreciate you. And chaotic wrestling. Ed, you get us into this. Before you do, though, hello, Joe. Hello, Joe, and happy Thanksgiving. Yes, welcome to the show. Ed, why don't you get us started? Because this is your neck of the woods. Normally, we'd go over to Papa Smokes, get him to give a little lay of the land, but you're the special guest, and you know this area better than we do, so we want you to give us a little detail on this one.
I feel like you guys are starting to learn chaotic about as well as I do. Chaotic wrestling, 25 plus years strong. They just had their 25-year anniversary in September. They're running out of the same arena that they run out of a lot of the times in Lowell. We're back in the collegiate charter school, which is that nice big gymnasium that Papa Smokes always likes. He loves those gymnasium type shows. But the thing I think that we need to talk about the most here, and it's something that Mortar brought up on his Twitter, is the staging for this show was pre WWE going HD with those old school special stages, and this thing looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that quite extensively yesterday in our Discord chat there. Before we go any further, it's hello to our amazing friend, the Mangler, saying good evening, everybody. Quite the crew here tonight. Love having you here, Mangler. Thank you for joining in. That stage, I messaged Ed about this, and Papa Smokes, I want to get your thoughts too. But when I looked at this thing, and considering the talent that Chaotic puts on display as well too, that coupled with just how much they keep upping their game in terms of their sets and everything like that, like they're almost on a level I want to say above your standard indie level. It starts to like creep into that MLW, TNA type level when they can put on displays like that. And considering the matches they have and the people that come through there, it really does have that kind of a feel to it, more so than some of the indie stuff that we typically cover on the channel.
Oh, very much so. And we've already watched some chaotic wrestling and studied it a little bit. We know that it's really among the very top tier of indie promotions in North America, so not unexpected from them. But watching the entrance area where the wrestlers were coming out from this first match on, it looks tight, man, and it looks really good on camera as well. Top marks to the production team and the cameramen for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal as Ed displaying it there for us so that we can take a quick look at it. But yeah, anybody who really wants to experience it, we are going to go ahead and get the link to Breaking Point 2025. And man, we got a lot of cool matches to talk about.
Before we go any further, I brought up the tweet. I just want to talk about this. Mortar tweeted this after the show. The growth of chaotic wrestling within the past couple of years has been insane. I call this place my home, not only because it's where I train, but because it's where it's giving me the freedom to come up with different ideas for shows and set designs. I couldn't begin to explain how many endless conversations I've had with our production team and on making setups like this become a reality. Every big show we do is a team effort, and I'm glad to be part of the team. If you're an independent wrestler who wants to feel like a superstar, this is the place to be. We do it special and make the fans feel like they're a part of the show. Nobody does it like Chaotic.
Yeah, and you know what? It's all truth. That's all truth right there, and I'm not going to deny it. It is great professional wrestling, great production value, everything about it. And then they pull interesting things like they did with this card in particular, and we got some interesting stuff to talk about. You're going to want to stay tuned to the end of this thing to find out just what kind of mayhem went down. But we almost feel like we're going to be going in reverse to a degree here, guys. And normally we would be waiting to talk about the main event, which is usually a professional championship, heavyweight championship matchup. Not this time. We open the show with the Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Championship match as no gods, no kings, only Mortar defending against the Chase that runs the place, Chase Del Monte. I mean, this is a main event matchup. This is a top quality build matchup right here in title defense, and it opened the show. And without really, I didn't really look into what was on the card going into this thing, so I was kind of like, huh? Why? And I was kind of curious. But when you start watching the rest of it, you understand why that tag match at the end of the night was the one that highlights this particular event. So this is what kicks us off. Mortar and Chase Del Monte, and they had some fun in this. It was all fun and games at the hop. They were back and forth, kind of teasing each other, egging each other on. And then there was even the cameraman situation on the outside where Mortar went up and raises the cameraman's hand and gets everybody cheering for the camera guy. I thought was kind of an interesting, fun take. Again, this is a quality matchup. This was a great way to start off the card. Normally you don't start off a card with your main title match, but it made sense here. And these two guys really got the crowd excited for what was to come for the rest of the night. They kept that energy just like we like from an opening matchup. So yeah, I'm going to go over to you first, Papa Smokes, because I really want to know your opinion on the idea of this match opening the card.
Well, it seems like such a wild idea to have the championship match first, but obviously they had a wild, not to use too much of a pun here, but a very chaotic main event planned. So it makes sense not to have the title match as the final match of the evening, but putting it on first, gutsy booking move, and I like the way they did it. This was a 20-plus minute match. The first 5 minutes, the guys wrestled. Love that. A standard, traditional beginning to a wrestling match, holds, moves, reversals, back and forth between the two of them. And this kind of highlighted what the commentary had told us before the match, that Del Monte had been the trainer of Mortar. So these two guys have spent a lot of time in the ring together. That was evident from that first 5 minutes and the next 15 as well. Very, very fine match, and one that puts Mortar over as a very strong champion in this company and a very over babyface. And Ed, I love the tweet that you read there from Mortar too, because it shows he's a team player. He's even got the main strap in the company, but he's still thinking about production details and different small areas in which to just slightly improve the show bit by bit by bit. That shows a guy who's committed to the company, committed to the product, and really just raises the status of Mortar in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, Mortar's the kind of guy that you initially can't not dislike. He's so good at everything he does, and he's so into all of the facets of being a professional wrestler. It's putting the ring together. It's showing love to everybody who does it. His pinned tweet is still a thank you tweet for being able to wrestle Ivar from WWE, and it's a 4-page, notes app kind of tweet, talking about how important that is to him as a young wrestler, looking up to a guy like that who he saw wrestle in this very promotion as its world champion when he was growing up. So to see that, and then to see what he's done since taking the title and being able to fight it against everybody, whether it be against a Richard Holiday, whether it be against, a Calvin Dumont, any of these people, he's in there, he's having matches. Dijak's not far on the horizon because they've been teasing that for a bit. But now that he comes out of this with the championship, beating the guy who runs the place, he now gets WWE ID talent Aaron Rourke, who is a chaotic wrestler, who's, create a pro talent who is very often here, but this match is fantastic. I love it mostly not because it gives the shine to Mortar, because it does, but it reminds everybody who's a newer fan not to forget that the guy who runs this promotion can still do it. That this guy, even though he doesn't wrestle anymore because he's essentially retired, should he need to, he can take off the tracksuit. He can stop making the booking decisions. He can stop running one of the best independent promotions in the country and go ahead and get in there and have a 20-minute match and just look fantastic doing it. Like, it doesn't look like he's taken a whole lot of time off. I talked about this on Tuesday when I talked about the match where he had with Mortar this week on our programming has had a hell of a week, because on Tuesday night, I reviewed a show from November 2nd from Fight Life Pro Wrestling where he got the opportunity to take on Gangrel. 36-year veteran, WWE superstar. Probably once Edge leaves and Christian Cage leaves AEW, the Brood is probably going in the Hall of Fame. Like, let's be honest. That's not far off at this point from being a Hall of Fame act. That guy's still wrestling at a high level, but Del Monte is even better. And again, more because this crowd knows him. Like, they're chanting Waterboy. He's getting in on the crowd. The crowd's getting in on him. He knows his job. His job isn't to win. His job isn't to have a 5-star wrestling match. His job is to go out there and make every single person in this crowd hate him. And he's not the only person on this show whose sole job in this on this card was to make sure everybody in that room hated him. We'll talk about the other individual in a bit, because as good as Chase did it, the other guy did it better. I'll be honest with you. I thought Chase did fantastic here, but when we get to that third match, oh boy, am I going to have a ball talking about that. And again, Mortar's just so good.
Chase isn't the only semi-retired or non-regular competing wrestler that would compete on this card either tonight. Nope. So we got some more interesting stuff to talk about. So yes, Mortar getting the rub in that one. Our second match of the night, it's the Chaotic Wrestling Pan-Optic Championship Scramble match. The champion, Calvin Dumont, is taking on Cash McGinnis, Von Vertigo, Queen Ariel, Mike Grocka, and Seabass Finn. What was that? Sorry.
Gracia. It's Gracia.
Okay, Gracia. Sorry. And Astrid has joined the chat. Hello, Astrid. Thank you for joining us. I'll even do this while holding the kitty. So, yes, this matchup, these are notorious for the Panoptic Championship. It seems like these are usually the way these things go. And it's usually a perfect way to have a worm like Calvin Dumont be able to pick up a victory in these things. Albeit the way it happened this time was a little more peculiar than has happened in some of the previous times too. I'm not really too sure what went down at the end. Maybe I need a little bit more context on that finish from you, Ed, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, it's an opportunity to get some of your mid-card to higher mid-card stars out there for a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth between these people. They can usually put on a lot of high energy, again, keeping that momentum from the previous match, keeping the energy levels in the audience very, very high. So this was a fun opportunity for the people involved. But yes, Ed, I'm going to go to you first because I need a little bit more context on what went down with Calvin Dumont getting punched yet picking up a victory in this one.
So before we get to the finish, because I do want to get to Tyree Taylor, because I love talking about Tyree Taylor, I want to talk about Von Vertigo. He's the guy who we've seen bits and pieces of. I believe he's a Canadian. Who's down here on, doing some work on the Northeast Indies. Very impressed with him. I like his whole vibe. I like his whole setup. Again, second time this week that I get to talk about Mike Gracia, because he's part of the Trauma Factory, who won the tag team titles in the show that I watched earlier. Auntie, happy Thanksgiving to Auntie. I really like the work that Mike did in this match too. He's a little bit less shown off in this match because it's a 6-way. But I like all the stuff that was here. But the ending was indeed a bit strange. So Tyree Taylor is a guy who's very often here. He comes in very often, but he was missing for a long period of time. And they were teasing something with him in the GGC for a while, but then they stopped doing that. And then he kind of disappeared. I don't know if he got hurt or not, because he's been disappeared from a lot of the New England indies. So maybe he was dealing with some kind of an injury. But ever since he's come back, it's been strange appearances where he's coming out of the crowd. At one point, he took the iconic Tyree Taylor big chain. It's like a wrought iron chain, like one of those big, thick silver chains that it's hard to explain, but he would wear it around his neck, and it's those big, heavy chains that like you drop and it makes a real distinct sound. And he took that and he threw it in a garbage can next to the ringside area on one of the shows. And he's been making those odd appearances here, there, and everywhere. In this one, he comes through the crowd and he starts beating everybody up. He beats up Dumont. He beats up Dumont. He beats up a couple other people. But at the end, he's getting ready to do the power bomb to Dumont. And he stops himself and he just pushes him over. And he just so happens to land on top of somebody. 1, 2, 3. And still. Calvin
and
Dumont.
Still. Yeah, the worm still keeps his belt. Papa Smokes, I want to know what you thought of this particular scramble matches. We also say hello to Basser, who's in the house. So thank you, Basser and Auntie Collins, for joining us here tonight on Ring Respect Radio. Appreciate you both. But Papa Smokes, your thoughts on the Pan Optic Championship matchup?
Yeah, well, this was pretty fun. It was a typical scramble kind of a match. There were some little alliances that were going to be made. Some of those alliances were broken. Of course, Ariel turned on Seabass in this match and a few other things. I also found the finish a little bit troublesome just because I didn't know some of the history involved with that. But for me, the most significant thing was I recognized this guy, Cash McGinnis, coming out. I was trying to think of where did we see him before? But of course, he was introduced on the Chaotic Countdown card as one of the 3 Academy training graduates that they were going to be featuring on their shows, along with Patrick Wheatman, who we'll also see on this card tonight, and Omar LaCasa. So I like this, getting the young guy in there in a scramble match like this. Cash McGinnis coming out as a heel, as White Boy of the Year, as his
Oh man, was that bad?
Very funny. And again, this guy is green as hell, but he needs some reps and he needs to get in there. So bring him in with a bunch of other talent. They can watch over him. They can babysit him a little bit, and he gets some of his ring time in front of a crowd, in front of a card that'll be going up on YouTube for everybody to watch. This is an invaluable experience for McGinnis, for a young guy. So I like seeing that they're going to start bringing those Academy graduates in and working them in these big matches.
Yeah, that was another thing I enjoyed too as well. You know, I love seeing the youngsters come up, and one of them we're really going to talk heavily about here in a short little bit for sure. But yes, Wheatman, yes. We will talk about him very soon. But yes, did like it. I like the Panoptic Championship is perfect for these type of matchups. And again, way to carry it on, get the show really pumping. Next up, match number 3, another championship on the line. We got the Chaotic Wrestling New England Championship, and it's Pogo Milo Mira taking on the champion Arcturus. And yeah, Milo Mira couldn't be any more over with your fans right now, could he, Ed? I mean, he's got them eating out of the palm of his hand. They're loving the pogo stick gimmick. He's absolutely beloved, and Arcturus is absolutely hated in every sense of the word by the Chaotic Wrestling fans. He brings out the absolute hate from your fans at ringside, and he does it brilliantly. This is not, there's a lot of people who would watch this match and go, not my thing. This was my thing. This was great because Arcturus, by hook or by crook, took what he needed to do in order to hang on to his championship, and that's go get disqualified. Until they throw some gimmick at you where DQs can lose you the belt, you're the champion. It's your opponent's mission to beat you and win the championship. Your mission is to hold on to that belt, and Arcturus did just that while pissing everybody off in the process. Gonna go over to Papa Smokes first on this one. I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, well, first of all, I like Arcturus a little bit because I like his mask. He looks scary when he comes out with his mask, and that's for sure a little bit of the heat that he gets from the ringside fans. And Milo Mira is, of course, the pogo stick guy. I'm sure he doesn't want to be known as that, but he features that heavily in his presentation. Came out to ring on the pogo stick. He's quite skilled on it, in fact. He didn't do the pogo stick from the floor over the top rope into the ring like he usually does. That's quite impressive, but still, the pogo stick going to be an important prop in this match with Arcturus doing that limb work, working over Mira's legs so that, oh shit, now he can't use the pogo stick. Oh, this is going to be devastating to Milo Mira. And you had to wonder, is he going to make a match out of it without the pogo stick? That leg was just bothering him the whole time. And of course, we saw the finish, Arcturus putting on a rather clumsily applied figure four leg lock, but still getting it on nonetheless, and refusing to let go of the hold until referee had no choice but to disqualify him. But again, with that panoptic, with the New England Championship, Arcturus having a stranglehold on that belt for the time being, and being a big guy in a faction, looks like it's going to take some work to unseat him.
Yeah, it really is. Ed, I know you want to talk about this one, so we're going over to you. Let's find out what your thoughts were.
I thought this was great. One of the small things that I can throw in here that's you'd only know at the live show is during the anniversary show where Mira turned babyface. His match was the last match before intermission. When he came back out around after the match to come sign autographs, he got a huge cheer, and he goes, "This is the first time I've ever gotten to shake fans' hands here." Because he'd been a heel the entire 2+ years he's been working at Chaotic. He is so into this babyface run and being able to have fun, because this is one of the few places where he was never allowed to be a babyface. He is a babyface in a lot of the other promotions he gets to work. Which I think is the most interesting thing about what he does and the shtick he does with the pogo stick, because the pogo stick is an instant babyface gimmick. And I love the idea of trying to use the pogo stick in the ring, it going wrong, Arcturus finding a way to get the legs in the right way to get that thing on, and then him being like, and he's like, "I'm not going to break it." He's like, "You're going to have to DQ me." And he's just looking up at the ref, waiting for the ref to do what he has to do. It's such good heel work.
Yes.
Like Bobby said in the beginning, it's just the epitome of, I get disqualified? Fine. I keep my title, right? And then he keeps it on, and he keeps it on, and he keeps it on until the security wrestlers come running in the ring to help get him off. It's just the epitome of what needs to be. This has been perfectly booked the whole way, and we know that because the fans are all in on Milo Mira, and they're all out on Arcturus. And the best part of it is, as I've shown Bobby a couple of clips of it, Arcturus is one of the premier trainers at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. So it's one of the things, like, he's the guy teaching the next generation of professional wrestlers in this school. He's one of those people, with a Chase Del Monte, with a Dijak, with an Anthony Green. Those are 4 of the coaches at the New England Pro Wrestling Institute. Those are 4 really good guys to know how to get to work from. I mean, Dijak, WWE superstar, NXT superstar. Anthony Green has spent time in AEW, has spent time in NXT, has spent time at the old ROH, has been to Japan almost every year that he's allowed to go to Japan. As we saw with Chase, we understand exactly what Chase brings to the table and everything he's done. And to now have the ability to have like an Arcturus here too. It's 4 incredibly different styles too. Because, Arcturus wrestles a much different style than Anthony Green or Chase does. But Dijak wrestles a style that's unlike all of them, because even Dijak and Arcturus work a different style. And I think that that's so much more important when you get into the Octoroos gimmick and the Octoroos character, is that not only is he this bastard of a heel who doesn't care about anything but himself, but at the end of the day, he's also teaching the younger generation how to work. And that's the kind of guy you want teaching your young guys how to work. Not the character, but like the character work that he's bringing into this. It's just fantastic.
And see, the best part of it too is in the end, you make Milo Mira look like he isn't a chump, but he didn't just get beat. He got intentionally, he won by disqualification. So he's going to have that argument. I want another crack at the champion. I want to get in there with him again. Maybe this time you give him an opportunity. It's a little bit more gimmicky. Maybe it's a submission match. Maybe it's a no DQ match. Whatever it is that they can throw at this thing, they then open up that door, right? Because you can carry on a feud as long as you have a reason to carry on a feud. If you just have a guy get beat clean in the ring, 2-3 times over, the whole rivalry's done right there. You really got nothing. So you need to give it something, and Arcturus gives it that something. He is that bastard heel, that evil heel that you need in professional wrestling in order to be able to put your baby faces into these situations. Whether or not Milo Mira comes out as the next champion is irrelevant to the whole thing, because Milo Mira will be rewarded by coming out of this thing one of the top baby faces in the company, regardless of the result.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it checks all the boxes. It's doing all the things a pro wrestling match. We're talking about this match in the grand scheme of like, this is like how we would talk about a television wrestling match on a weekly TV show, is like, it's doing all the things it needs to do to progress the story. How many indie promotions do storytelling at this level, at this high of a level, on an indie card week in and week out, like month in and month out? Like, you guys work PPW. Everybody knows it. You guys are heavily involved in everything that goes on at PPW. You understand how hard it is with the influx of talent in and out, people not being available for dates, to tell proper stories in an independent wrestling sense.
Yep. To
be able to do storytelling like this, in the ring, out of the ring, the whole nine, over months and months with the GGC, it's just something special and different. That it's again, to go back to Mortar, it's the reason why Chaotic is something different. It's the reason why Chaotic is something special. It's why nobody does it like Chaotic.
Yeah, 100% there, and that is why we enjoy watching it. And the fact that they can give us those storylines, it is difficult. You're right, Ed. Like, I mean, we have general ideas of, say, one or two things that are going to roll along with people we know are going to be usually readily available to our roster throughout the year. And that's what we kind of ride on. But plans have changed more than one time in PPW's history, like they do for every independent company, because people get hurt. People can't make it. People get booked somewhere else. Anything can go. It's the wild, wild west when it comes to
the U.S. government shuts down
wrestling.
And people can't travel.
Or that, yes, that put a whole halt on things for quite some time. So yes, it's very, very difficult to run exactly what you had planned originally, but you do your best, and Chaotic does a phenomenal job at it.
Yeah. And can I just add one thing? I wanted to bring up something when Ed was talking about the champion being disqualified as the finish. I remember being a little kid before the internet, and we didn't even get WWF on television yet, but my brother and I were following along in the Apter magazines, Inside Wrestling and The Wrestler and all that. There was a match when superstar Billy Graham was WWF champion back in the day. He had a title defense against Chief Jay Strongbow, where he was clearly worried about his chances of losing the belt. So I'm not sure what arena it was in, probably a big one in the Northeast for WWF. Probably Boston Garden or Philly or whatever. Superstar Graham and Chief Jay Strongbow get in the ring, and Graham punches the referee before the match even starts, gets disqualified, leaves with the belt. I couldn't believe it when I was a little kid. Like, that still is kind of a high bar for heel activities for me. Can you imagine that, getting disqualified before the opening bell even rings? That's so awesome.
Yeah, imagine being one of those people who paid for a ticket to get all the way to that main event to find your champion turn around and punch the referee out. It'd almost be like as if some independent company ran a show where, for whatever reason, the two guys that are supposed to be in the main event championship match never get their hands on each other, and the one guy goes around kicking everybody at ringside. But we're not here to talk about our experience with Prairie Pro. Let's move on to the next match. It's a singles match. Patrick Wheatman taking on Sean Keegan Vegan, who came to the ring with Luke Barnes, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. That's how we say. Okay, I got it right. Soy boy, yes, soy boy. I started to chuckle when I heard soy boy too, because I'm like, well, I mean, they could get Son of Irish there and just call him soy boy.
Well, as long as he's vegan, that's fine. If he eats meat, I don't think him and Keegan are going to get along.
Fair enough. But yeah, they started talking about how much Wheatman. I'm never going to be able to say that correctly, but they started talking about his accomplishments since coming in, and the fact that he beat Richard Holiday, and the massive victories that he's had so far. And this kid is so full of energy. It's hard not to like him. I mean, he comes out and immediately there is a charisma about him for such a young competitor at this age already to get in there and instantly click with the audience. And he wrestles good. He for his level that he's at currently, he wrestles quite well. I'm very impressed with what he's doing so far. And this is not taken away from Sean Keegan Vegan. Sean Keegan Vegan is a great professional inside that ring. And this being one of the only, if not the only singles, was it the only singles match that we had on this entire card? No, sorry. It's one of two. One of two. This was, I mean, for me in ways that
singles matches, you mean, right?
Yes, sorry. Okay. Yeah, because Milo Mira and Arctur, and then the next match is singles as well, too. But honestly, this was a standout for me. I thought this was great between these two competitors. I thought another great way to put your younger talent over. Getting a massive win over Sean Keegan Vegan. They're pushing this kid to the damn moon right now. They really, truly are. I'm curious to see where this push leads him in the not too distant future. So first, we're going to go to Papa Smokes. Your thoughts on Wheatman and the Keegan Vegan?
Yeah, I thought this was quite a good match. Both guys really good at their in-ring. Both have a nice presentation and everything. But once again, the thing I like best about this is featuring Wheatman in the upper middle area of the card, giving the kid a push. I like what they're doing with him. He's kind of a good-looking young guy. He's got that sort of Bob Backlund-esque kind of presentation to him. He's got the red hair. He's got the smile. He comes into the ring. He's waving to the fans with a big smile. He's a white meat baby face. That's what we call that in the biz. And he plays it to the nines. No cheating. Wants to be the better wrestler in the match without breaking the rules. This is just babyface 101, and I love the way they're doing it with this kid. So they can get the fans behind him. If the fans believe that Wheatman's a better wrestler than the guy he's beating, then you're raising his value and his stake in the company. So having a good match like this, putting him with Vegan Keegan, a guy who can carry him and help him through a good match, this makes a whole lot of sense to me. And obviously they see something in Wheatman as well, because they're giving him a little push right off the bat. We talked about the victories over Richard Holiday, and he had another significant one that they mentioned too against one of their visiting superstars from elsewhere in the Indies. So this kid is going to get the push. He looks like he deserves it. He looks like he's going to perform above maybe what people thought his capabilities were. So yeah, they've got a nice looking product, a nice pure baby face. And of course, when you think of a 100% babyface like that, you got to think, how long will they run that? And then how shocking will it be someday when he makes the turn?
Now that you put Bob Backlund in my head, I hope he takes a turn like Bob Backlund as well, too. That'd be right up my alley.
Yeah. We don't need Wheatman to go that crazy. It's fine.
Oh, come on. It would be fantastic. Then he could start using the chicken wing. Yeah, I love it. Love it. Ed, your thoughts on this matchup?
Patrick Wheatman is just Wheatman. He does the Wheatman thing. It's great. The thing I think that's different about Wheatman then, like, because we talked earlier about Cash McGinnis, White Boy of the Year, and all the things they're doing to get him noticed, and all the things they're doing to get him attention. The difference with Patrick Wheatman is that he's obviously the star of this three-person class. We talked about Wheatman, McGinnis, and LaCasa. LaCasa very rarely appears on the shows. We understand he's at the bottom of this totem pole. Not that he's bad, not that there's anything wrong with him, but he's obviously the one at the bottom of this totem pole. They find things to do with Cash McGinnis, whether it be going out there with Brian Johnson and being Brian Johnson's, guy, whether it's a couple months ago where Cash McGinnis was out there in place of Luke Varnes because Keegan's upset with Luke Varnes and how he constantly fails him because Keegan's losing matches. So it's obviously Vargas's fault that he's losing these matches because he's too talented to lose. So it's obviously his soy boy that's causing the trouble. So he brought in Cash McGinnis to try him out, and he lost still too. Whereas with Wheatman, the approach is completely different. The approach is find our good stars, throw them in the ring with them, let them perform. And it's, like you said, Richard Holiday, Brad Cashew at one point. Like, if it's a name in this, he wrestled John Walters, who's a chaotic Hall of Famer, who was one of the first 3 Ring of Honor Pure Rules champions. Like, John Walters wrestled by a different name, and I forget what the other name is, and I wish I could remember off the top of my head. Let me go look it up real quick. But he wrestled as a different name in Ring of Honor. And he was an amazing professional wrestler there. RJ Brewer, that's the name. RJ Brewer is the name he used outside of Chaotic in the New England indie scene. But again, like when you trust a young talent with guys like that, and again, you guys are the perfect guys to talk about this. It's not easy to entrust your young and up-and-coming talent with named, expensive talent that's going to cost you money to bring them in. Because you got to, 1, hope that they can perform at the level they need to. And 2, you got to make sure that they don't, unfortunately, hurt the bigger talent. Like bringing in Richard Holiday is a big money deal. You know that Richard Holiday is going to demand good indie money.
And he should.
I have no and again, that's not a bad thing. He's earned the right to demand the money. His signature move is valuable. But when you have a guy like Richard Holiday on your card, you don't want to risk hurting a Richard Holiday.
Oh.
So you make sure that he works with guys who aren't going to hurt him. And working with a young talent, it's an unknown. You only know so much about a Patrick Wheatman. But like Bobby said, he continues to surprise. He continues to perform. And even this winning streak, these wins that he's getting, because it's not a streak because he's lost a few matches in between. He's having this great performance against these things, and he's getting out of these matches with the skin of his teeth. Again, Seabass Finn hits his finish to help Patrick Wheatman win, while Wheatman's down, so he doesn't know that Seabass helped him win. And that's the greatness of this kid, is he's just getting these great matches, and sometimes he comes out on top because the storytelling that they're doing around the match compels that to be the case. But at the end of the day, he's getting over. The crowd loves him. He's getting wins. He's moving up the rankings. He faced Calvin Dumont a few months ago for the Panoptic Championship and lost. But again, that's a safe loss because you're losing to a champion. So you can have your young star lose to a young star champion, continue the story. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy so shockingly pins a champion at some point and wins a title by sheer coincidence.
And watch it be Arcturus.
I was thinking it could be more, like, as silly as it sounds, what if it's Mortar? What if one night he finds himself somehow in a multi-person championship match and pins Mortar to become the chaotic champion? Like, because that's the thing I think you can do with him.
Even if it is multi-person, he has to pin the champ in that situation to make it more credible for him to take the belt in that situation. Yeah.
Because you can take the belt off him at the next show. Like, this doesn't have to be a story where he's a long reigning champion. He can fall into a pile of shit and win the championship and just have that shock moment of, oh my God, this kid just became the world champion. What is in store now? And then because if you want to do a Mortar heel turn, and again, I talked about this on the show on Tuesday, and again, I know I'm promoting the show on Tuesday, but I really had fun with that show. Seeing Mortar work heel, even a little bit, was such a fun and interesting vibe for me, because you knew there's no way you can be more babyface than Gangrel. There's just no chance. When you bring in a star like Gangrel, again, you guys know this, when you bring in a star of that level to a promotion, you know that star, if they're supposed to be a babyface, is going to be out babyfacing everybody on your show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so it's just the fun idea of him falling into shit and somehow beating Mortar and winning that championship. And again, I would hope he would lose it the next night, or you go on a string of him winning these, just unthinkably winning these matches, just pure dumb luck. Because again, that's the story you can tell with a young superstar who can afford a big loss, because he's not supposed to be in the position he's in. He accidentally got into the position he's in. And I think that's something you can do. It's the reason why the Jinder thing didn't work, is because they tried to make Jinder feel like a big deal, even though they should have made him feel like a guy who accidentally found himself with the world championship.
Well, I could see how it could work, but we'll find out. Eventually, it's going to happen, definitely. Next matchup, we've got Julian Starr taking on Brad Cashew and
Peanut Man.
Yeah, Peanut Man. You guys really like the names that evolve around food. I always get hungry watching chaotic wrestling shows. Is just this a thing down there? They name themselves after different foods so the people in the audience get hungry and head towards the concession to buy more food at these things, because there's a lot of references to food throughout these nights. But this was another solid one-on-one encounter. Brad Cashew, another guy who makes fans not like him whatsoever, but not because he's not talented inside that ring, because he is a swarmy jerk of a heel that they just don't want to get behind, and they pretty much want anybody to punch this little loser in the face and get this over with. But add a little background on this. What did you think of this match and these two guys?
I love this. Julian Starr is, again, as they said, he is a Triple Crown champion in this promotion. He's every title that was available to him during his career, he won. I watched a couple months ago, a Pandemonium match where, he was in there with the best of the best, in there with Makazi, in there with Chase, all kinds of fantastic people. But I haven't seen a lot of Julian Starr as an in-ring competitor. I know Julian Starr as the commentator. I know Julian Starr as the former star of Chaotic, and seeing clips and bits. He was really good considering he hadn't been in the ring in 5 years. Yep. It's been 5-10 years since he's been in the ring. He looked fantastic. And the idea that, again, they've been building to this match for months upon months, making sure that there's all the little things about him on commentary with Cashew getting involved with him. I thought this was going to pay off at the anniversary show, because they did a thing on the first night of the anniversary show. And I'm like, cool. Night 2, they're going to do Cashew versus Starr at night 2 of the anniversary show, because that's where you have all the old guys. That's where you have the vets. That's where you're going to have the payoff for this. Nope. They waited to the second biggest show of the year. They waited to Breaking Point. It was Julian Starr's Breaking Point with Cashew. And I love it because it told that story. They went back and forth in the beginning. Then Julian Starr got on a roll and he was getting into it. And then Cashew does the cheaty heel thing to get the advantage. And he starts dominating, and he starts being the douchebag heel that he is. And then you have the ref bump, and you bring in Cash McGinnis, because of course you bring in Cash shitty ass McGinnis to help Peanut Man, because he's not good enough to be a cashew. Because again, when you rank nuts, cashews are at the top, peanuts are at the bottom, or towards the bottom. So, Peanut Man. But I love the twist of having McGinnis have the referee shirt on. I thought that was a unique and different twist, because I didn't see that coming. I'm like, oh, ref bump, something's going to happen. Oh, he brings out somebody else. That's fine. No big deal. The two of them are going to beat down Starr. Starr's going to lose the match. That makes sense. You put over the guy who's going to be here, as opposed to Julian Starr. But they didn't. They didn't do that. They let Cash McGinnis come out. They let Cash get his ass kicked by the other commentator, Pat Matthews, who, again, former Chaotic Star. Not to the heights that Julian Starr was, but two guys that know each other, two guys that have been in the ring. And Pat looked great. That elbow drop onto the backbreaker on like that knee-breaking backbreaker, fantastic move. I'd be down for these guys as a tag team going forward. Get them off commentary, get them back in the ring because they look great. Julian Starr does eventually hit the 450 for the win, which is something that a middle-aged man like himself, not being in the ring for as much time as he's been in, that's a hell of a thing to be able to pull off at this point in his career.
Looked pretty stiff, too.
Yeah. But he gets the big win. He gets to celebrate with his family. More importantly, he gets to celebrate with Suzanne. And we just say Suzanne still looks fantastic. For those that don't know, she's a former wrestling valet throughout the years. So this isn't her first time in a wrestling ring. That's the reason why they were making comments. And I was like, wow, well, okay. Julian Starr did good for himself here. But no, I mean, this match is just everything it needed to be and more. And again, Cashew doing the right thing as opposed to the thing that, because Cashew could have made the call to talk to Chase and sat there with him, Chase, and Julian and been like, the end of this story needs me going over. I'm the guy who's going to be here show after show. I'm the guy who's going to continue to make you money. Julian Starr, after this match, is going to go back to the booth and he's going to sit there and do commentary. And it makes sense from a wrestler's point of view to be like, I should get the win. I should be the one to go over here. But he understood story matters more. And he understood that sometimes you just have to eat your pride. And I give Cashew credit for that because a lot of guys would have politicked to get the win there. Because how many times have we seen the old vet comes back and they go down? They go down fighting. They go down in a 10, 20-minute match where they look fantastic. But they leave with their back down. 1, 2, 3. Cashew lost. And he looked fantastic doing it. And he looked great. And I can see Cashew as world champion again in no time. Like, you can rebuild Brad Cashew from this without too much effort. He just needs to go on a string of wins against some big name talent.
Easy to get cheating jerks over. Papa Smokes, your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I think Cashew needs a new name as well before he goes over. I question whether he passes the name test as a champion in any company. But that aside, I liked this match. It was quite good. It was quite competitive. And I liked Julian Starr. I was not familiar with this guy, but of course, commentators filled us in that, like you said, Ed, he's held all the belts in this company and been quite a star a decade or more ago. And then they said that he had been out for 10 years. But yeah, you talked about politicking for Cashew to get the win. But I think even once you got into this room and heard the reactions of the fans, they remember Julian Starr. They were all over Julian Starr. They were supporting him with great volume. And you could see that's the way the crowd wanted it to go too. And I realized that when an older superstar comes back, there's no shame in him doing the job. There's no shame in a guy that's a commentator now losing the match. That's absolutely the logical way to go in this. But once you watch this with the crowd and the fans present for this, making so much noise and appreciating Starr and remembering him so well, it was lovely the way this went. Then you got to have the feel-good moment with the wife and the daughter coming in the ring. And I think that's one of those moments that people really crave during a wrestling card, because some heels are going to go over and give you that sour feeling, but you want that good feeling of a clean babyface victory and somebody from the past, some nostalgia, a guy that you cheered for a whole bunch in the past comes back and gets another win. That's a great feeling for the fans. It's a good, gutsy booking decision, and I think it worked out perfectly on this card.
Yeah, it really did. Now, it's time, gentlemen. Time to talk about that main event of the evening. We got the Chaotic Wrestling Tag Team Championships on the line in what is known as All Out Tag Team Ladder War. This match going into it, I was like, this is going to be absolutely insane, batshit in every sense of the word. And we had our tag teams in this one. We had the Powers of Influence, DJ Powers and Jose Zamora. We had the unit, JT Dunn and Danny Miles, who were the current champions going in. We had the Monarchy, consisting of King BMT and Prince Jamari. I want to talk about that in a minute. The Miracle Generation, Dustin Waller and Kylon King, and Team Relentless, Shannon Lavangi, and who would be a mystery partner for her that we'd find out later in the match. So how this thing works, it was everybody. There was one competitor from every single team that started this matchup off. And was it 2 minutes or 5 minutes, Ed? It was 2 minutes. Yeah.
Whenever they felt like it.
It's indie time. It's indie time. That's how it works. But every so often a countdown would come on the screen and somebody would come out, and you couldn't officially grab the tag team titles from suspended above the ring there with the ladder until your tag team partner had entered this matchup. So advantage in the favor whoever comes in first. I go into this thing thinking like these aren't usually my cup of tea, these hardcore matchups, multi-person matchups. I had a hell of a time watching this because, oh my God, so much talent on display, so much times where I was cringing and just hoping that people were going to survive this insanity. BMT took some sick ass bumps throughout this thing. And yet for every sick ass bump that man took, it still wasn't as deadly as that bump that Danny Miles and Shannon Lavangi took coming off that ladder through that setup door that has no stopping them. There's no stopping that momentum. Straight to the concrete, and it had thumbtacks on it. That might have been one of the sickest bumps I have seen in quite some time. Absolutely insane. I thought they both died on that occasion. I want to mention, too.
Can confirm. They are alive and well.
Okay, Thank you. Glad to know. And I want to talk to Bob Smokes about this as well, too. But the Monarchy as baby faces. This is the first time you and I have had the chance to talk about the Monarchy as baby faces, Papa Smokes. But quite interesting to have them there as baby faces now with Prince Jamari, who, again, is another person who was introduced recently to the Chaotic Wrestling roster. It was his brother or his tag partner that got injured. And instead of, him getting pushed to the side, they found a way to insert him into this storyline where he has now become the Prince of the Monarchy, and now they're baby faces. This is nuts. So not only do I want to find out what you thought about that, Bob Smokes, but your thoughts on the match as well, too.
Well, I mean, the Monarchy had such heat as heels, like insane heat for this company that I still feel like the fans aren't quite ready for them to cheer for them. You know what I mean? Like they spent so long hating them that sometimes a babyface turn will be immediate, but I don't think this one's going to be immediate because they hated the Monarchy for so goddamn long. But this match was really, really crazy. I was glad to see Shannon Lavangi back. Like her a whole bunch. She can wrestle in a match with the guys. Absolutely no problem. Has all the confidence in the world. She did one of the spots early on in this match. She did a Meteora off the ladder onto somebody who was sitting on a chair. I mean, I don't even want to describe the spot further. We'll get kicked off YouTube, but it had an awkwardness to it, but it still worked out very well. But glad everybody's okay after that one. But man, there were some insane bumps in this. You talked about Lavangi's other bump that she took going through that thumbtack covered door, but I mean, there was a Spanish fly that went through a door. There was somebody accidentally splashed a ladder up. DJ Powers. Mm-hmm. There was a power bomb through a ladder. There was also a Canadian destroyer that went through a ladder. But the one that really got me was a package pile driver through a ladder that was like kind of propped up between the turnbuckles and the ladder in the middle.
That Jamari spot still makes me want to puke. Good God,
oh my God. That one had me cringing and wincing to myself when I watched that. It looked absolutely destructive. Can't believe everybody's okay after that. Boy, did that one look legit and looked so stiff. You could kind of hear the crowd just get silent after that one because it was just absolutely devastating. You got this one clipped up, Ed?
I was going to say, just one, we're going to do stop motion here because I don't want to get us kicked off, but Chaotic is fantastic. We love them.
Yeah.
This is a spot that goes back years where Danny Miles put, the skewers into her face. So Danny tries to do it. She climbs the ladder and she has them too. And neither one end up taking the skewers. And we'll kind of just fast forward a couple seconds.
I thought that was an interesting thing too. And like she ran straight up there and she's just got them tucked inside of her pants there and it takes them back out. And it was like, wow. I was like, okay, she's going to get him instead. And then for them not to get used. For them not to get used is just wild.
Yeah, and then we have this. And that's what I'm going to play. Just. Ow.
It's almost better that there was two of them because that way that the door broke for sure. I mean, some of those tables aren't very strong, but that door looks like it would provide a lot more resistance. So at least you had both people's body weights. You knew that that thing was going to break for sure.
But in some ways, coming down. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ed. You go first.
One of the reasons why you also guarantee the break is because you're putting it on the very edges of two steel. What the crowd doesn't see here is the setup for that almost 15 minutes earlier was two steel guardrails that protect the crowd were used as the makeshift legs of a table to make sure that door breaks. And then Danny poured the stuff on top of it. But I mean, just fantastic.
The crazy part is, though, is from that height and going through, I mean, that's guaranteed it's going to break. First of all, when you're at that height with that much body weight coming down because you got two wrestlers going through it at the same time and everything. But it's that absolute fall. There's nothing slowing the fall because if there was a little bit, it could have broke even if it was a little bit sturdier and could have slowed the fall a little bit so that when they come down to the cement, the bump slows down a little bit so it doesn't hurt as much. Those two went straight through right to the floor. I mean, you might as well have jumped off that damn ladder straight to the concrete because that is what they did. Only they got several hundred tacks stuck in their bodies and had a door to smash through in the process. That had to have hurt a lot. So,
and they took some of the velocity off too by putting their feet on the ropes as the ladder's going down to give themselves that base to make sure they can get into the right position, which again seems silly when you're talking about getting your body in the right position. But when you're talking about a steel guardrail, a door, and thumbtacks, you really want to make sure that your body's in the right position to go through all of that and make sure that you don't smack your head on the guardrail or the other 1,000 things that can possibly go wrong. Mm-hmm. So that split second of putting your foot on the ropes just to make sure that you're level with the table the right way you need to be. Not to mention, right after that spot, BMT then takes the skewers and throws it at the two of them after he knocked them off the ladder. This thing is a train wreck in the biggest of ways. I mean, JT Dunn losing the tag team championships by doing a Canadian destroyer off of a pair of ladders onto BMT through a door stacked on chairs with a door stacked on two other chairs stacked the wrong way. Like the erector set bullshit they did to get that spot. And by the way, worked perfectly. Somehow, some way, that spot worked picture perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, that's the second worst bump that JT Dunn has taken in the last month. Because he had a spot that damn near killed him earlier in the month. On November 1st, he did a spot where he dove out of the ring and he glanced off the shoulder of the guy he was running into and went headfirst into a guardrail.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And that's but again, that's what these guys do. These guys, these girls, everybody, they do these things. And when they said all out ladder war, they meant all out ladder war. Nobody is leaving this match the way they, hell, DJ Powers went through 2 different ladders at 2 different points in this match. And he's got a championship belt to speak for it. Because we've talked about this match for 5 minutes. The Powers of Influence are the new tag team champions in Chaotic.
I did not have that on my bingo card immediately anyway. I didn't, not in this match. I did not think I did not think they were walking out champions in this one, but I'm not angry about it either. I mean, they're heels. You know, you're supposed to hate them and everything like that, but I think that they are a good, interesting new team the Chaotic has introduced together. We've talked very highly about Jose Zamora and his gimmick as well too. I'd love to know if there's footage from his body cam or anything like that from this encounter in particular. But yeah, new tag team champions. I thought it's wild. Bob Smokes, your thoughts on the new champs?
Yeah, I think it's a great pick actually. To me, when I first started watching this match and watched all the wrestlers come to the ring, I kind of had the feeling that they might go over, and I think it's a fine pick to have a young heel tag team carry the straps for a bit. They're going to bring some heat to that whole tag team division. You know that they're going to use some slimy tactics to hold on to those belts for a while. I would assume that they're going to get a run. They're going to win every match by cheating for a long time until they establish the babyface tag team that they want to have go over them, whether it be a veteran team like the Unit or a younger team like the Monarchy that's now babyface, whatever it happens to be. But I think the Powers of Influence will be an excellent heel tag team champion, and also something they can look forward to for the future is just making this, I would say, give them a multi-month run at the very least. I could see them even being champs for the better part of a year while some babyface teams chase them. Come close, but don't get it. Come close, but the cheating makes the heels go over again. I love these situations where you can have these chicken shit heels that hold on to a belt for a long time and just frustrate the hell out of the fans until the fans are foaming at the mouth to see these guys lose.
Yeah, run it through to Cold Fury. Run it through to Cold Fury.
We've got the first opportunity here, as they've already announced that the first match on December 5th, their first title defense, is against the Shooter Boys, the B3 Boys, Anthony Ovecchio and his tag team partner, whose name is escaping me, and I don't know why, Aaron Ortiz. Yeah, that's the one.
Don't you need Bam Bam and Bear Bear? Wasn't that the
No, I absolutely don't mean that. I mean the Shooter Boys. I absolutely mean the Shooter Boys.
And that'll be a tough title defense for Powers of Influence right off the bat. I mean, that'll be a super tough defense, but you know how they're going to get through it. Slimy cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That December 5th show is already looking good. We've got the main event will be Aaron Rourke taking on Mortar for the World Heavyweight Championship. We've got the tag team title match between the Shooter Boys taking on the Powers of Influence. And we know the Panoptic Championship is Big Trouble Ben Bishop taking on Calvin Dumont. Like, those are 3 big headlining matches. And we've still got more to come.
Love it. It's going to be great. This was a fantastic card. I'm glad you got us to watch and review this one, Ed. Can't wait to have you back on for more Chaotic Wrestling as we wind down 2025 already. That's kind of weird to say. I don't know. We'll see if we can fit in another Chaotic before then. If not, we'll definitely hit them back up in the new year for sure. But yes, I got to say, great card. Final thoughts from both you, starting with Papa Smokes.
Well, for me, Chaotic hits it out of the park again. Like I said, they're at the tippy top of the indie scene in America and in all of North America, I would say, one of the very, very top indie promotions. They always bring the heat. They've got a very, very talented roster. They have tons of choices they can make for each card. So a lot of these cards that we see are really all of them that we've watched free on YouTube have been sort of pay-per-view quality cards, so to speak, for an indie company like that. So Chaotic continues with strong booking. You could say strong scouting as well, because those academy graduates are looking good right out of the gate, and the future's bright for Chaotic Wrestling. They've got that close tie with some of the big companies there too. They're sharing talent, or bringing talent up that will go up into the big leagues, and the future just constantly looks bright for Chaotic Wrestling.
You bet. Yeah. And just hello to Stuart to join us here. Stuart, yeah, go check him out. He does some great content creation as well, too. Been lurking and listening and saying a great show. Thank you. Thank you for joining and listening. We appreciate you, my friend. But yeah, Ed, final thoughts on this Chaotic show.
I mean, it's just another great show from the Chaotic banner. You know, it is like, I hate to say it is what it is, but like, that's just what it is. Like Mortar put it best. Nobody does it like Chaotic. It's hard to do things at this high of a level with the budgets that you have from an indie show, where again, you guys have seen indie show pricings where people are bringing in big name talent from around the world to try to get a big payday for a show. And they're charging 40, 50, 60 bucks a seat. You got to remember, these shows are selling out because these seats are, 10, 15, 25, big shows are $30, $35. But they don't go over 40 bucks for these things. So they pack the people in because they know that their prices are going to sell. You get the job done and you put on a great show. And those people who are spending their 20, 30 bucks are going to come back again and come back again. And no, we may not have the biggest of headliners that go around the world doing the indie stuff. But we have a consistent group of talent who come in here and who do like Mortar says, work as a part of a team. Make things the best they can be. And again, that fucking stage, man. Like,
oh yeah.
And they've been doing that the last 3 or 4 shows. They've been really going out of their way ever since the anniversary show to put on an interesting stage portion to their show, to change up the way things look. And if you can keep doing something like that, that's the key to success. Like, it shows that you're invested in the product and the people can invest in you, because the money's going to come back and the money's going to do the same thing it needs to do. And money in indie promotions is not always something that goes synonymously hand in hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love what they do. It's a great promotion. They do fantastic work. I love that they continue to keep those prices low, because they do something very similar to something that's near and dear to our heart. And before we say our goodbyes, I want to talk about Prairie Pro Wrestling, because we also have a show coming up. It's Saturday, December the 6th. It is our Christmas-based show, Seasons Beatings, and we know that it's going to be a great time, and I promise you, you're not going to want to miss out. So if you haven't got your tickets already, reach out to Brave Pro Wrestling on social media today to book your tickets to PPW Presents Seasons Beatings. But that's going to be it for our show here today. First, we're going to go over to our guest, Oled. He's going to tell you where you can find him and what he's got coming up.
You can find me at all the random places down here. That's not important. This Tuesday, Ashton will be back. I can promise you all, because I know a lot of you didn't watch this Tuesday because it was just me. You could be happy to know that Ashton will be back this Tuesday. We're going to be taking it a bit easy. The 3-hour shows are getting a bit to Ashton every week. So the holiday week, we're going to tone it down a bit. We've got Wrestling Open from a couple of weeks ago that I went to live, and it's got all of the fallout of crowning the brand new WWE ID Women's Champion. So we have a 6-way 1-fall match. That's a qualifying match to bring somebody into the main event of that show, which will be the 6-woman elimination match. And whoever wins that will not only become the WWE ID Women's Champion, but also get a contract with WWE ID. They will become a WWE ID sponsored talent. So we got that. We've also got Starstruck on the show. We've also got the Fancy Bears. We got Marcus Mathers and Aaron Rourke. We got Bear Bronson. We got Fancy Ryan Clancy. We've got Starstruck, the Shooter Boys, all kinds of fantastic stuff on this show. So make sure you check it out. We're going to have a bunch of fun. 5 matches on that one, so nice and quick.
Speaking of holidays, Papa Smokes and I have the unfortunate task of deciding what to do when it comes to the Christmas show this year, but we'll get more on that as we get into the month of December. But in the meantime and in between time, Papa Smokes cost me some money, and tell them, that beautiful ticker, where they can find you, what you got coming up.
All right. I can always be found as Thursday nights right on this podcast that you're watching right now, Ring Respect Radio on OLE Podcast. Other than that, I can be found on Elon Musk's free speech.
I swear we didn't mute him. That was great.
No, we did. Yeah. Papa Smokes, say it again, because you totally went blank as soon as you said Elon Musk. It's like the universe opened up and tried to prevent you saying your shtick.
You guys are trying to censor me now.
No. You would have seen a little mute side.
I can be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland, known as X, at smokes_papa, and also on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
That's it. That is if you can find him on Twitch. On Brett Martinez always swears that he can.
Yes.
But as for myself, Bobby Munson, I'm across all the socials there. You can find me at any of the ones scrolling across your screen at the bottom. For what I got coming up, you can join me and Andre, maybe Ed. I'm not sure about Ed yet. Ed will let us know on Sunday for more point of view. We're going to be doing more NFL predictions, talking about our fantasy football league, and talking about the week in sports, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So set your clocks and be there to join us live in the chat. And you can find myself and Papa Smokes every Saturday with a brand new match over at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel, where this Saturday the tag team titles are on the line as Beer Wars Night 2 continues. It is the champions, the Short Kings, defending against the Brotherhood. You're not going to want to miss it. We are also going to have more for you with Ring Respect Radio in 1 week's time. In fact, I think it's time to do our PPW preview show next Thursday night. So that's what we'll be bringing you next Thursday here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. But that's it for us this week on Ring Respect Radio. We will see you in a week's time. Take care, everybody.